I'll be putting out to sea with fishermen from a village outside Morondava called Betania. It's a cluster of grass-covered shacks on the sand where men go out to sea in handmade pirogues to fish. Whatever they can bring home, the women either cook for the family meal or carry to the market. One of those fishermen is Jama. He supports a wife and 9 children using skills handed down through 100 generations. I'm going to sea with Jama and his 2 crewmen, and with Francois, the translator we hired in Morondava.
Yeah, this is where it begins.
With everyone aboard, we're off for a day's work that feels like an adventure story straight out of a kid's book.
Yeah! Yeah! This is really just incredible. The world just works completely differently here than the way it does where you're sitting right now.
It's amazing to think of Jama's ancestors coming across the sea, all the way from Africa, in small open boats like these. And what these guys are doing with them now is still really amazing.
Now, let me ask you a question. The captain of the boat,
Yes, Jama.
Jama, how long will he stay at sea?
So it depends. Sometimes that you go too far away for 3 days.
3 days?
3 days.
In this boat?
In this boat.
And just getting to where the work starts takes hours. Hundreds of years' experience have taught men like Jama to find their fishing grounds with no markers in sight. No one can explain to me exactly how, but Jama knows we've arrived.
All right, so, I've kind of lost track of where we are. There's not a single land marker anywhere. I do know that we are 25 kilometers off the coast of Madagascar. There are sharks that live here. We're sitting in a tiny little wooden cup in the middle of a giant bowl of water.
And there's nothing modern when it comes to the fishing. No GPS, no sonar, nothing but a line, some hooks, a rusty knife, and a few bait fish. But it's enough.
Yeah! Oh, yeah, baby! Oh! It looks like a giant cross between a sea robin and a monkfish. It's got a nice big throat and big teeth for eating little fish.
They make it look easy, don't they? Just toss out your lines and pull them in. But the closer you look, the more you see is going on.
When I first got in the boat, I thought that this was just sort of throw as many lines over the boat as you could and haul in what you catch. But it's very, very scientific. They're actually gauging where the fish are by baiting hooks at different depths on their line, going all the way down to the bottom. I mean, we're in hundreds and hundreds of feet of water here, and based on what comes up, the captain keeps making decisions. It's kind of like built-in fish sonar in his head based on what he sees come into the boat. Can you ask him if I can have a line to put over?
Once Jama finds the spot, surely I'm enough of a fisherman to handle one of the lines.
How far? Keep going? Good?
Yeah.
I've got about 150 feet of line out now.
Jama and the crew pulled in 4 fish in a matter of minutes. But as for me,
We got fish!
Yeah?
Well, I think what I had was a rusty boot that worked its way off.
I've gone sport fishing with all kinds of fancy high-end gear. This is much more complicated. It's in those fingertips, measuring out the line and moving the hook in ways I can't pick up.
Nice. I don't know whether you noticed, but every time I get my hand on the line, they want to make sure we're not wasting bait. Every line that goes down is an opportunity to put a meal on someone's plate back in the village.
Food is so scarce that these guys don't even pack a lunch to come out here.
It's after 11 o'clock in the morning. I've been up since before 5 a.m. We're gonna be out here for a little while longer. Delicious. Very much like Japanese snapper. Had nice saltiness. Soft white flesh, beautiful, very clean. These guys think I'm crazy. Laura, Want to try it? Pour manger?
Raw fish fillet like this could cost you 30 bucks at a sushi bar in New York or Tokyo. But out here,
He's freaked out. It's okay, you don't have to eat it. You don't have to if you don't want to.
these guys just won't eat raw fish. Culture is a funny thing. All this time, Jama never stops working, reading the water like tea leaves, looking for the really big fish.
Whoa! Did you see that? It's like a shark. They're gonna try and spear it. That is gorgeous. Whoa! Whoa! Did you see that? My goodness! What's amazing is the marksmanship that this guy had banged with the spear.
This is a king mackerel, about 50 pounds of fish. Fatally wounded, but still thrashing, so it has to be clubbed to death before pulling it into the boat.
These guys are men. Men. Sail out here in the middle of the ocean, I mean the middle of the ocean, with nothing but the wind and a couple of wooden paddles and a bunch of hand lines and stay out here for 2-3 days at a time, feed their families. Incredible.
This all adds up to a good haul for Jama and his crew. Good enough to call it a day and head for home. By the time we get back, the tide's gone out and the beach has moved about a mile from the village. But these ancient outriggers can go as far as the water will reach, while today's fancy schmancy motorboats are stranded until the tide comes in.
And even though it's extremely backlit, you can probably see way down there, that is one of our crew boats, and they are hand carrying the gear out.
After a full day at sea, Jama is bringing home about $15 worth of fish. More than a third of that will come from the big king mackerel. Back at the village, his wife and children have the cooking fires ready. By the way, that yellow stuff you see on the women's faces is a paste made from grinding up tree bark. It's a combination sunscreen and cosmetic. All the way home, I've been looking forward to tasting a choice cut of fresh mackerel. But this fisherman's family can't afford to eat the best of what he catches.
They cut off the smallest pieces of the tail of the king mackerel to serve to us, not because they're not being gracious, but just because this is the money that they can make selling in the market. It's a matter of feeding his family.
So for this family, even a few scraps from a fresh-caught fish is like killing the fatted calf. Preparation is simple. Poach in a broth with sea salt and serve.
Wow. The dish that you have is as good as anything of its kind in a 4-star restaurant in New York or Paris, and it's absolutely breathtakingly fresh and delicious. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous fish.